Yo, some random recipe I made up on the spot on a Friday. Not bad. I think it turned out pretty good. Hey everyone, as stated before, I'm here to share some random creation I made off the top of my head on a Friday. Well, I didn't know what to make for lunch. It's just a basic chicken breast stir fry with Japanese miso sauce that consists of typical Japanese condiments. I realized some errors midway on how to improve it for next time, but I'll let you know as we progress, so let's get started. First, chop up some scallions. We're going to use this as your basic Asian garnish to make the dish nicer and give it a little bit of fresh flavor. I feel like topping any Asian dish with scallions will usually turn out pretty good anyway, but that's just my observation. Next, this is where I realized I goofed. I was thinking of using minced onions as part of the sauce, but I realized sliced onions would definitely have worked better, at least in my opinion. But if you prefer it minced, then continue to do so. Alright, after cutting up our veggies, we will now cut our chicken breasts into thin slices. We want to do this because if it was super thick, then it would take forever to cook, and the chicken will be super dry by the time it's cooked all the way through. I feel like most people don't even like chicken breast because they usually overcook it, which causes it to become tough and dry. But trust me, if you can cook it properly, it's pretty good. Look, I understand, most people prefer thighs, and there's nothing wrong about that, but I feel like it's an unfair comparison if you don't try to cook a chicken breast properly and then say thighs are better. Once the chicken is cut thinly, we're going to pat it dry with a paper towel so it gets a nicer sear. Once the chicken is dry enough, time to season it very lightly with salt, and I meant very lightly. The sauce we're using is going to be salty, so we don't want to oversalt the chicken, and remember, you can always add more salt later. Oh, that white stuff I added, by the way, was white pepper, and I feel like it suits this dish slightly better, but if you only have black pepper, then just substitute that, no biggie. I'll be using a stainless steel pan, and one way to know when it's hot enough to add oil is to add a little bit of water to the pan. If beads stay on the surface and doesn't sizzle away, that's your cue to add oil. When the oil has been added, place your chicken breast to sear it on the pan. We don't want to overcrowd the pan as the lack of space will cause the chicken to boil instead, and that's not good, trust me. I had to do 2 separate sears because I had a giant chicken breast, so take your time, no worries. You'll know to flip the chicken when it's brown like this. If it hasn't seared enough, just flip it back until it's good to go. You know, there's no problem with that. This should be relatively quick also if your pan is hot enough and you didn't overcrowd it as well. Here's some footage of me placing the cooked chicken breast on the second plate while I finish up the second batch. If it's still a little raw on the inside, don't worry, as we'll be cooking it further in the sauce later. I feel like if I didn't say that, I'm going to be getting those Gordon Ramsay raw jokes. Alright, once all your chicken has been seared, you should have a decent amount of fond on your pan. Stir in your onions and add some salt to dry out the moisture. As mentioned previously, the fond is that brown stuff that's stuck on the bottom of the pan. This is that good stuff though, that'll give the sauces a lot of flavor. Cook your onions until they're transparent, sorta like this. And we should almost be ready to add the sauce to deglaze the pan. Oh, by the way, you can see me doing that cool chef's toss that you see a lot of chefs do on TV, like this. What this does is that it helps incorporate everything more evenly. The technique to do this is actually not flinging it up in the air, but rather pulling the pan back towards you in a jerking motion. Once the onions are cooked enough, we'll add our miso sauce, which consists of a tablespoon of soy sauce, mirin, sake, and white miso. This sauce will help deglaze our pan and get any leftover fond unstuck. We're going to reduce this sauce by a little bit so it's a little less watery. Once the sauce is reduced, make sure to taste the sauce to adjust for any seasoning. I felt this may have been a bit salty, so I balanced it a bit by adding some sugar for some sweetness. After adjusting for seasoning, we can toss in our chicken and begin to stir it around in the sauce. We want the chicken to be coated in the sauce, and this is where doing that fancy chef pan flip can help incorporate it better. Once the sauce is well incorporated and the chicken is cooked, which I would say it takes maybe around 1 to 2 minutes, you can serve it on a plate. Finish off the dish by garnishing with some sesame seeds and scallions. It'll make it all fancy and worthwhile in the end. There you have it, an easy chicken stir-fry that goes very well with rice. Once again, I feel like having sliced onions is a little better than mince, but that's just my opinion, so give it a try and decide for yourself. That's all on you. Hey guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Weekend Cooks. Take it easy, everyone.